Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from Autism Awareness Australia. My name's Emily and I'm very, very excited to have you all joining us. Before I start, I just want to acknowledge the Gadigal people as the traditional owners of the lands that I'm filming this video from today, and acknowledge any elders past, present, and any Indigenous people that are watching our video today. Wow, you already know who's sitting with me, but I will introduce him because I love his intros that he does on his podcast, so I have to return the favor and try and do a good one myself. So you would probably know him from Love on the Spectrum, the wonderful show on the ABC and Netflix, or perhaps his incredible podcast, Mr. A Plus, that he hosts, where he brings love and light to people's lives by interviewing people from all over the world. He's an impressions extraordinaire, and he's also a budding actor, which hopefully we can talk a little bit about today. So, Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Emily. It's my pleasure to be here.
Amazing. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay for the most part.
That's good. Yeah, it's a bit of a busy time, I think, for everybody, and especially you. You've always got, podcast, all different things. So I'm definitely keen to talk about that. I guess
Nice.
my first question for you is, looking after yourself, that looks different for everybody because we all come from different backgrounds, we've all got different goals and things that we want to achieve in our lives. So what does it look like to you to, be well and look after yourself?
Well, just maintain a balanced diet, don't overeat, and also focus on your mental health as well. Do what makes you happy, things that give you comfort, and take time to be amongst nature.
Yeah, that's a really good point, especially that last point of being around nature.
Yeah, because wherever you are in nature, it's like an escape hatch from reality. Because to me, everything about nature and the animals, in my eyes, is the supreme definition of purity.
Yeah, definitely. I have recently started going on walks kind of just around my area because I have a lot of kind of not bushland, but just lots of greenery. And I find like it really improves my mood. And I also feel good because I go, hey, I've done some exercise today. That's really good. So that's a really good point, and I wouldn't have thought about that unless you'd mentioned it. So thanks.
You're welcome. And reading is also a good way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. What kind of
And
books are you reading?
well, there's one book that I'm reading at the moment. I'm over halfway through it. It's called My Balkan Heart.
Ah, very nice. What's that one about?
It's actually about a young woman's first solo traveling experience in the Balkans.
Very interesting.
The author's name is Miriana. I'm unsure how to pronounce her surname, but I actually met her once in early April.
Ah, yes. I was at our Autism event, I
Yeah,
believe, that she was there. Awesome. Well, I know that you are a bit of a traveler. You did a
yeah,
solo trip to Europe a little while ago, and you're going to be traveling this year as well.
yeah. Well, technically, the first time I traveled to Europe alone was 6 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a little while ago.
Yep,
Yeah. And
to Germany.
do you do anything different when you're traveling when it comes to looking after yourself? I know
Yeah,
some people on the spectrum can find challenging travel a bit
yeah.
challenging because there's that disruption of your routine. So what do you do to make sure that you're
Well,
keeping well?
well, if I'm overseas, what I would do is just follow an itinerary. Stay in the safest areas. Always avoid the areas that are dodgy or dangerous at all times. And
Mm,
if you're unsure of where to go somewhere, ask somebody for directions.
mm.
But also use your wits and be on your guard,
Yeah,
and
totally.
and and use your discernment.
Yeah, no, it's can be difficult when we're
Yeah,
overseas. Everything's different. It's all flipped on its head. So yeah,
yeah,
that's definitely really good advice. Is
mm,
and I know you're traveling, towards the end of the year to England, which is
yeah,
one of your favorite countries, being an Anglophile. So
yeah.
what are you going to do when you're over there to make sure that you're looking after yourself so you can make the most of your trip?
I'm not sure how things will go over there. I'm just gonna cross that bridge when I get to it.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna do my best to stay safe at all times and spend most of the time exploring England and some sightseeing. And one thing I'd love to do, there's two things actually. I hope to find someone over there, a woman actually, and
Mm,
have an English high tea with her at a tea house, and
amazing.
also go to the Talithin Railway in Tywyn, Wales.
Awesome. I mean, that sounds like the perfect trip, having a good high tea and then, you
Yeah,
know, getting to see all those sights that you've wanted to see for a long time.
yeah.
Well, my fingers are crossed that you get to do all of those things
Thanks.
because that will be an epic,
Thank you.
epic trip.
Mm,
So, yeah, as you said, like yeah, you've got this big trip coming up. We all live such busy lives where there's lots going on.
I
But,
know.
part of our like looking after ourselves is taking some time to relax. That's really, really important. So, what do you like to do to relax, Michael? How do you rewind, recharge?
Well, I spend my time here in this room doing acting out characters or watching sitcoms or animated films.
Very nice.
And I also like to love eating out. I love being with friends when I can, but a lot of them have now become parents.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to take kids out to dinner.
Yeah, and because a lot of people grew up more quickly than I did, it's become really hard for me to accept.
Yeah, that can definitely be tricky as we become adults. Everyone gets into different stages of life. So that can
Yeah,
be a little bit hard. It's kind of a bit of
and
a hard thing to adjust to. But
yeah,
I think it's really cool that you've got lots of your own, special interests and things that you can
yeah,
focus on because,
yeah,
it's important to develop your own identity and think like, that might be what someone else is doing, but I'm just going to focus on what I like doing and what I enjoy. So I'm glad
yeah,
that you've got those things that you enjoy yeah, doing in your own time because it's really important that we've got those hobbies and those special interests
yeah, of course.
kind of keep us
Apart from that,
entertained. Hmm.
sorry.
Yeah, just to keep us entertained but also to help us relax. We
Yeah,
focus our energy onto into those things when
apart
we need a break.
apart from acting, my other special interests are railways, animals, and nature.
Very nice. Well, you'll have the railways thing ticked off hopefully when you go to the UK.
Yeah,
What about, I can't really think of any animals that are UK specific. So we've got a lot of good animals in Australia, so that's a good thing.
yep.
You don't have to travel too far.
Mm.
And yeah, and then also with your acting. So in terms of like acting out characters, what you said before, does that something that you do as like practicing for your acting, or is that kind of a way of navigating feelings? Why do you act out characters? What do you like
It's
about doing
it's
that?
actually it's actually a way. Oh, it's actually a bit of both,
Hmm.
actually,
Okay.
because whenever I'm feeling upset or frustrated or furious, I would turn to playing acting out villainous characters because it's a healthy way for me to release my anger.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
that way it impacts no one else or even myself.
That's a really good point. Because, yeah, sometimes when we have really big emotions, it's like we need an outlet to express them, but we've got to do it in a
Yeah,
way that's safe and respectful of other people. So I really like that as a way of, yeah, navigating those really big emotions that can feel so all consuming. But, you're not impacting on your relationships or, hurting yourself in any way.
no,
That's really good. Do you have any villains that you like to act out in particular, or does it kind of change all the time?
changes all the time.
I like that. That's very cool.
Mm.
Well, I guess kind of staying on that track of like mental health, are there any other things that you do to kind of look after your mental health and like
Well,
manage your emotions?
there are a couple of things I would recommend. There would be meditation and Tai Chi.
Oh, okay. When did you start doing that?
I haven't done Tai Chi at all. I've been wanting
Oh,
to do
right.
it for some time.
Oh, okay. But yeah, meditation's a great one.
Mm, it
Yeah,
certainly is.
yeah, definitely. And Yeah, anything kind of to do with like mindfulness, I think, is really.
But I would like to get back into doing yoga and perhaps Pilates.
Oh, nice. I've heard great things about both yoga and Pilates. So, yeah, maybe I was going to say that could be a New Year's resolution, but it's June, so not quite. Maybe a new month's resolution. I should
Yeah,
start
but
doing those things.
I'm glad that we just have this month to get through first. Then the first half will be over at last.
That's true. Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy first half of the year already. So,
Yeah, it has not been that great.
yeah, well, you've got lots of things coming up in the second half, like your big
Mm.
overseas trip. So, yeah,
Well,
waiting for
I'm
that,
going
I
there
bet.
for a specific reason.
Yeah, why are you going?
It's because I'll be filming a television series in the last few months of the year, and going to the UK is part of it.
Amazing. That's very, very cool.
I've been waiting for this for over 3 years.
Yeah, and it's really hard when you've got something so exciting like that coming up, to wait that long. I can imagine that would be
Yeah,
really hard. But yeah, I think, fingers crossed the months will fly by and before you know it, you'll be there having that high tea
yeah,
and checking out all of the railways and the other sites that you
yeah.
wanted to see.
I would love to find a British lady over there.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
It would.
They have yeah, and there's just so much excitement over in that part of the world. So
Mm.
my fingers and toes are crossed.
But also, in my eyes, Great Britain and Europe are where the finest women come from.
Okay. Well, luckily you're going there then, and you've got a few months.
Yep,
Got a few months to spend. I like it.
yep,
Awesome. So, yeah, I guess speaking about relationships, I mean, they're so important in our lives, but not just, romantic relationships, our friendships, our relationships
yep,
with family.
yeah,
Um, how, like, do you find that relationships help you to look after yourself?
yeah. They do.
Great.
Obviously, toxic ones would not help at all. But I don't have any toxic relationships.
Yeah, I'm glad to
But
hear that.
but for a long time, a lot of majority of my friends have been disappointments.
Oh, that's no good.
Well, it's because in high school I was marginalized.
Yeah, school is a really tricky time. There's a lot
Yeah,
of, especially high school, relationships are really
yeah,
hard to maintain when everyone's going through such big
yeah.
changes. It can be
And
a bit of a stressful environment, I agree.
but it wasn't just the fact that I was marginalized. That none of the girls at school impressed me because they had very poor maturity and they had boyfriends for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, no, that's tricky. That's not the ideal situation to have a meaningful relationship in.
No.
Yeah. I guess I mean when you do quite a bit of traveling around Australia doing different events and stuff, do you enjoy meeting people at those events and
Oh
getting
yes.
to know them
Love it.
better?
Yep.
That's good. Yeah. And I know you've had a few of those people on your podcast. What do you like about doing your podcast in terms of getting to know your guests?
It's because I already know what they're like on screen, but
Mm.
my biggest question is what are they like off screen? And I'm curious enough to want to find out.
Yeah, totally.
Um, I never ask famous people what's it like to be famous because I already have the answer. And the answer is it's okay.
It's okay.
Being
Yeah.
being famous is nice, but there's something that I prefer to receive from a famous person more than a selfie and more than an autograph.
And what would that be?
I'd rather, you know, get to know them more over lunch or a coffee.
Yeah.
Just walk and talk about general aspects of life.
Yeah, that's really good.
But if but there is a moment or so where I just can't help but tell them that I really admire and appreciate their work.
Yeah. I mean, they must like to hear that, but I think it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really nice that you're interested in the person kind of behind the
Yeah.
celebrity.
Yeah, because they're more than just celebrities. They're still people after all.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got so many things that, people kind of ask them the same questions day to day. And so I
Hmm.
think it's cool that, you're asking them different questions and wanting to get to know them on a deeper level. And they would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, because what you see on the surface is not really enough for me to is just not really enough for me because I want to dig a little deeper than that
Yeah, totally. That's really, really
and
awesome.
and hopefully establish a friendship with them.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, who's kind of been someone that, is there anyone that you kind of weren't expecting to form a friendship with and you have, or
No, not really.
that's good. You've kind of just gotten along with everybody.
Hmm.
Great.
And because these actors, they're like-minded to me. They share my passion.
Yeah, that's true. You've got that acting passion that they also
Yeah,
share.
it's
Sometimes that's
because
really hard for people to get.
yeah, it is. But also, acting is something that I've enjoyed doing since I was a kid. I just love making people laugh.
Yeah, totally. You've got that comedic timing down pat. I mean, we saw your speech that you did at your brother's wedding and other things that you've done.
Yeah,
So
I
that's really cool.
that received like over 600K views.
I know, it's properly viral.
Yeah, I know.
Impressive. Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be that popular.
Yeah, I bet that was a bit of a confidence boost in terms of your acting. I mean, to see everyone going, like
Yeah,
receiving it so well.
yeah. I also said a few things off script during the speech.
Yeah, a bit of improv is always good.
Yeah, I there was a certain line that I said to my brother about him dressing as Buzz Lightyear. Do you know what I then said after that?
What did you say?
I said him thinking that he was Buzz Lightyear. I said to him, but this was off script. You wish. If you were Buzz, I'd be Emperor Zurg, and I would have killed you long ago.
Yeah, I love that. Toy Story is such an iconic movie, and that's the best reference.
Yep.
That's so good. When they make
And
the next Toy Story, they need to have you on board.
yeah, maybe, but it depends.
That's true.
Um, but Lightyear did not do well at the box office. It was a huge box office bomb for Pixar.
Oh, that's a shame.
Mm.
Oh, you need
I,
to maybe need to get you on a more successful franchise then.
I, it, but Lightyear was only a spin-off, separate from the main series.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But
So yeah. Oh, sorry,
sorry,
Michael, you go.
I was going to say that in terms of Toy Story, it's one of my favorite toy animated film franchises. For a long time, Lotso, the pink bear, was actually my favorite character
Mm,
because he's a teddy bear. Because I just love bears,
mm.
but he's a very toxic character.
Yeah, I always found him a bit scary. He's
And
kind of a bit
and
two-faced.
then when Toy Story 4 came out, Ducky and Bunny became my favorite characters.
Oh, okay. I actually don't know if I've seen Toy Story 4, so I should get onto that.
Hmm.
I can add it to my very long list of watching things to watch.
It was released 4 years ago.
Oh, I know. I'm a bit slack, hey.
Some people are.
So that is all. Yeah, I love that you're able to pursue that passion because I think pursuing our passions is really important just in
Yeah,
terms of our overall happiness. We've got to do
of
things that we
course.
like doing.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you have any advice for people who are on the spectrum who maybe aren't sure whether they should pursue their passions? Maybe they lack the confidence. What kind of advice would you give to them?
All I can say to them is follow your heart and decide what's what's best for you and ask yourself when was the last time you did what was best for yourself?
Good
Because
point.
you can't spend your entire life putting everyone's needs before your own because if you do that, you'll be left behind and eventually forgotten about by others because no one is that selfless to care about what you want.
Yeah, exactly right. It's
And
really important that we're always putting our own needs first.
if people don't take no for an answer from you, don't take no for an answer from them.
I love
Return. Because why should you give people the kindness of taking no for an answer when no one will do that for you?
that. Yeah, that's a very good point. Definitely advocating for yourself. You've got to be
Yeah,
your own advocate. And especially, yeah, when it comes to pursuing your passions, if other people
Yeah,
don't quite understand or don't quite get it, that shouldn't be what deters you from
yeah,
following them, because if that's
yeah,
what makes you happy, that's the most important
yeah.
thing.
And because don't people ever stop and think there might be more to life than just work or parenthood?
Yeah, there's definitely there has to be more. I mean, we have to invest that time in ourselves and making sure that, we look after
Yeah,
ourselves. I know it, like at Autism Awareness Australia, we kind of say you've got to put your oxygen mask on first before you help anyone else. So we mean, you've got to look
yeah,
after you first, because, how are you going to look after someone else if you're not looking after yourself first? If you're not at your
exactly.
best, yeah, you can't help others to do the same.
Yep.
Well, Michael, I actually don't think I've got any more questions. So, I mean, do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom for anyone watching who maybe wants to look after themselves a bit better, but, just needs a bit of extra inspiration or motivation?
Well, that's a bit of a tough one.
Any tips that you haven't shared already that you might want to share now?
Hmm. If you give me a minute, I'll think of something. I can only say do what makes you happy and spend as much time with your friends as you possibly can. Maintain your relationships with your family. Always stand by the people that mean the most to you, and just never stop doing what you love. And always think about what's best for you, and spare yourself some thought and cut yourself some slack.
Yeah, definitely. All very, very good tips.
Mm.
Awesome. Well, Michael, thank you so, so much for joining us and making time for us to have a bit of a chat today.
Thank you, Emily. It's been my pleasure.
It's been so good. Well, yeah, all the best for everything that you've got on,
Thank you.
particularly your trip. We're all very, very excited.
Thanks.
And make sure in the description box below that you check out all of Michael's socials, his details, and his podcast as well, so you can figure out what celebrity he's going to be chatting to next.
Hmm.
Awesome. And yeah, for any information about autism, particularly if you're new to autism, check out all our resources in the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video like this video, sorry, and subscribe to our channel. And we'll have some new exciting content very soon. Thanks, Michael.
You're welcome, Emily. Thank you for your time. I really
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael. Talk
Thank
to you
you.
later.
Yep. Have a great day. Take care.